Hey, Jessica.
Yeah, this Jessica.
This is Joe Plummer. Reed gave me your number. He said you might have a tour story for me from Dillinger days.
Joe.
Plummer.
Joe
Reed
Plummer.
Yeah, I'm.
You called.
I thought he told you. Yeah, I called you a couple times last week and left you messages. I thought you might be busy, but.
Yeah, I've been really busy, which is why I haven't called you back.
Okay, well, you think you could do a tour story for me, or you have the time or interest?
I'm not sure. I don't know if I'm really interested. You've been so persistent, and I feel like it's been kind of disrespectful of my time a little bit.
Shit. Sorry. Reed just thought you were free. I don't know.
I mean, my dog died last week, and it's just a really sensitive time to be calling, and Reed did know that. I'm really surprised that...
He did tell me, now that I think about it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised that he recommended that you call me, because he knows how upset we've been, because the dog used to tour with us, actually, so...
Oh. How about in a month I call you back? Or maybe you call me? Maybe?
Yeah, how about I call you?
All right, yeah. Sorry to bother you.
That's okay.
Bye.
And I'll call you back. Bye.
Thanks, bye.
Traveling with equipment is always a pain, especially when you're flying. Jessica tells us how a microphone receiver gets her interrogated in a smoky hangar at an Italian airport. From Ruinous Media, this is Tour Stories.
We were coming back to another European tour, heading back home this time, finishing off in Italy. So we're at the airport in Rome, and we were there for quite a bit of time. I mean, it was pretty relaxed how long we were waiting before our flight. So when we checked bags, oftentimes I would just go up with everyone's passports, and I would just tell everybody how many heads there were and how many pieces there were, and just divide it that way. So when we do that, oftentimes what gets checked doesn't necessarily belong to whoever's name is attached to each piece. So everything just is getting in and just getting tagged, and, we're done. Then I realized at one point I was going to change a seat. And I just walked up to the counter, and the woman's like, "Oh, Miss Curreri, we've been calling you for the last, 20 minutes. I was like, "Oh, am I getting upgraded? What's happening, So I get led down this escalator, which is right behind the check-in desk. And I'm like, oh, wait, why am I going down the escalator? And I'm like, no one goes back there. No one goes down this escalator. So I go down the escalator, and there's this man standing there. And I don't have any, instinctual feeling not to, so I just go. And next thing I know, I'm in an elevator. And the guy's, asking me all these questions and kind of giving me strange looks. And now, as we're in the elevator, I'm starting to feel slightly more uncomfortable. And we go downstairs, and he... you have to go in the car. I'm like, wait, why am I going in this car? I actually felt like I had no choice. I was very intimidated. And I'm like, my flight, am I going to make my flight? But he doesn't even speak English well enough for us to have a clear conversation about what's happening. So we're driving, across the tarmac, past planes, definitely going to, another side of the airport. And now I'm starting to get nervous. I'm like, wait a second, I don't have my phone. No one knows where I am.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am. I don't know where I'm going right now. Where are these people taking me? Well, I had nothing with me, and I can barely even communicate with this person. So we're driving, the other side of the airport, pulling some random garage, and then he tells me to wait, and he locks the door. Now I'm really nervous. He's smoking a cigarette outside of the car, of course. And I'm just hello, knocking on the window. And he's like, wait, it's Polizia. And I'm like, oh, police. Okay. So I wait. So the police come. They take me out of the car, ask me my name again, and they take me into this room. And there is the wireless microphone receiver. So it's just sitting, and that's ours. So that's our luggage. Now I'm in this room, they shut the door behind me, and I'm kind of confused. Is that ours? I'm pretty sure that's ours. So then they ask again, why am I here? What is this thing? And then they won't let me touch it. And I'm trying to explain, once I see what it is, I'm trying to explain, trying to put on my best charade performance ever. Microphone, sing, but you don't plug it in. It's and it's just a whole circus. And then, of course, I'm getting more nervous because they're just looking at me kind of deadpan. But then I think at some point they just think it's funny, so they just let me keep going. So I'm like going through the whole thing, and then every time I would go to touch it, they'd be like, no, like, because they must have thought it was some sort of like explosive device. It was just this ridiculous thing. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, they just start laughing. And they're like, oh, American pop singer. Oh, singer, you're a pop singer. Oh, and I'm like, no, not really. But like,
Sure.
okay, sure. You know,
Yeah.
this, and it's like, oh, you should have had a bomb. Like boom, boom, like that's me. And I'm just like, this is so crazy. And having to go through the whole thing and explaining them itinerary for them to look on their phone, like you can Google it, you know, like where they played in Rome and other parts of Italy and this like whole thing. And then they just start laughing, and then everything is okay. And they end up taking me back, asking me for my autograph, wanting to take pictures, which is like so ridiculous. I'm just like, yeah, okay, sure, yes. And then bringing me back to the airport. And all of this probably took a good 45 minutes. So then I had to go back in the car, and then they drove me back and then back up through the elevator. And when I got to the top, the guys were just like, where the F have you been? What happened to you? But yeah, I mean, it made for a funny story afterwards, but in the moment was like, I mean, I was definitely sweating.
Thanks to Jessica for the story. Stay tuned for more tales of life on the road in Volume 2 of Tour Stories. Coming soon. I love you.
Pacow.